Oh, a whole 3 minutes. Trevor, you should be fine this time. Squeeze it out in the 3 minutes.
30 seconds gone, Wayne.
There you go. I go back to the basic premise to start off the evening with. You know, I've heard throughout this province for many, many years is that we keep sending very good people to Ottawa, be they Liberal or be they Conservative. They've been very outspoken people in this province. And Mr. Taylor has been a very outspoken person in this province, so has Mr. Burns been a very outspoken person in this province. But when they get in government, they lose their voice. Right? They lose their voice. I mean, right now, people in this province say, all we ever hear on open line is Jerry Burns. Oh, God, Jerry Burns is on again. Turn it off. Turn it off. He's not. I mean, even the gentleman calling the other day, he made a reference to blankety blank. And of course, you know, if I'm Bill Rowe or Randy Sims, I know what he's talking about. Right? But you know, when you're in opposition, you have a voice. It's fine, okay? Jerry can speak about the Marine Atlantic. Jerry can speak about the fishery, even though some of the things he speaks about are some other members of his party's responsibility as a critic. But Jerry has that leverage in his party. But when if he gets back into power and back into cabinet or back into a Liberal government, he'll be muzzled again because the party will come by and say, Jerry, okay, now buddy, we're back in power again, zip your lip, right? Because loose lips sink ships, right? And if Mr. Taylor goes to Ottawa, and maybe he's made a minister in Mr. Harper's government, right? We've seen what happens to ministers in Mr. Harper's government, right? They are told what to do by the PMO, right? That's how the game is played. John Beard, yeah, he's vocal because John Beard got a big mouth, and we all know, and everybody in Canada listens to John Beard. Does he do anything about the environment? No, okay? But he's a good house leader because he keeps everybody in check. And that's the Canadian political system, right? The Greens can't say that right now because they're not in power, okay? Be interested if Elizabeth May gets elected this time and how she performs in Parliament, right? The NDP, yeah, it'd be nice that Jack Harris and Ryan Clary get elected May the 2nd. When they get to Ottawa and a crucial vote comes down with respect to this province, could be a loan guarantee for Lord Churchill, right? And Jack Harris says to his party, guess what? This time, we're voting no. Right? We're voting no. So the NDP candidate or NDP MP has to toe the party line and vote no. Because most of the times in this country is what's in the best interest of Quebec and the best interest of Ontario. And that's why the Bloc Québécois has been so successful, because they have their own independent voice. And they wielded the power in progressive, liberal, and conservative environments. Okay? When they said, we want $2.2 billion for the compensation for HSD for Quebec, guess what? Mr. Harper says, oh, we'll give that to you now. And Mr. Flyers says, we'll give that to you now. Because they got to buy their support. So if we can play political blackmail in Quebec, we can do the same thing in this province. So let's play the block game in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Mr. Goss, your closing remarks?
Thank you. Again, being relatively new to this game, I don't know all of the hoops to jump through, and I don't know who to flatter and who not to flatter. And I am not well versed in all my party's policies, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm only one voice, that people who vote Green aren't wasting their vote. That, let's say, for argument's sake, that Harper or Mr. Ignatieff or Mr. Layton gets in Parliament, that the number of people who vote Green or Independent or whatever are not wasting their vote, because the demographics and the statistics will say and tell government what you care about. If the Harper government gets a minority, it tells the Harper government that a minority of voters wanted him there, and that any opinion you have matters because it's your opinion, and if that wasn't important, we wouldn't ask you to vote. So it's also important for people to remember that you have the power. It's our job, assuming that I ever get the job, it's our job to represent you guys, not ourselves. I haven't been at this long enough to be jaded. I don't have any of my own agenda. I don't have time. So my goal is to represent your interests, and I don't know that if I don't talk to people in the riding. That I can speak to laws and political problems and any economic concerns, but that won't help you if none of you want it. So it's up to you guys to speak with whoever gets elected for the MP, whoever gets the majority of the votes. It's your job to communicate to them what you want and not let any of us assume. Because that loses the power of democracy if you don't realize that your votes and your voices matter. that whether or not the Green Party gets in or not, whether or not I am forced to leave college or not, it does not dissuade from the point that anyone who votes for the Green Party expresses a desire to change, to give a a representative proportion, that one vote means one vote, that environmental concerns are important, that youth jobs and pensions and social welfare is important. Now, voting for me does not mean that it's only for me, because you also agree with Elizabeth May, who built the policies, who was kind enough to have recruited me into her ranks and give me the chance to give you the chance to vote Green. I don't know the kind of job that I would do if I were elected, but I didn't know what kind of job I would do here. I like to think that I did my part and that I played my role as best I could, given the time restraints, but if I don't agree with if by not agreeing with the majority governments, that means I misbehave, then I aim to misbehave.
Thank you, Mr. Goss. Mr. Byrne.
Mr. Moderator, Mr. Keith, I think we should kind of break with tradition here. I don't agree with everything that the Green Party certainly stands for, and I don't necessarily agree with everything that you stand for, but I'm very proud that you were part of this debate tonight, and I'm very proud that our young, someone who's young, someone who's energetic, wanted to participate in the electoral process. Wayne, nice to have you back on the campaign trail as well. Wayne and I have been at this for a couple of times together. We spar, we go back and forth. I kicked down a couple of his signs, and they're like, no, just kidding. We had and of course, Trevor and I go back, a few years. I always joke, Trevor's the one-man coalition. We've been with each other in provincial politics and federal politics and all this sort of stuff, but it's truth is, I'm pretty proud this way this particular debate went tonight. We kept our cool. We tried to answer questions we may not have done necessarily to your full satisfaction, but you know what? I think tonight was very informative. I'm delighted to be a candidate in this campaign, whether I sit on one side of the House or the other. The message that I've always tried to project, and I think I've done it so reasonably successfully, is that I stand with you. It's not always easy. There are difficult issues, there are difficult positions that sometimes you have to take. But as a member of the government, I was criticized for doing too much for my riding. As a member of the opposition, whether it be, forcing Marine Atlantic to acknowledge the rights or the benefits to veterans with free fare on Marine Atlantic, or standing up for seniors and getting benefits for them that were taken away from them, in my opinion, very unfairly. You can do a job from either side of the House. It's where your head and where your heart is that really matters. You can affect change no matter where you are. Robin Goss has demonstrated that tonight. He's already made a difference in this particular room. So whether I'm in government or in opposition, I intend to take the fight of Humber St. Barbe Bay Vert and of Newfoundland and Labrador to the floor of the House of Commons. I will not be silenced. Whether it's, and if it means getting on open line, and some people want to say that I'm on open line too much, it's my responsibility to communicate what is going on. And that's why I use open line as an effective medium whenever I possibly can. I have a great relationship with the Western Star. They challenge me every chance they can, and what I say, they don't just print it, they challenge it. But as well, NTV and CBC News, they're all important mediums. It's important for your representative to get out there and communicate, and that's what I try to do. But most importantly, what I try to do is stand up and communicate the issues of Humber St. Barbe Bay Vert on the floor of the House of Commons, and for that, I've had a few successes in my day. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Taylor.
Well, thank you, Mr. Moderator, and thank you, everybody, for coming out here tonight. I hope you enjoyed your evening. I did. Thanks, Wayne, Robert, Jerry. As Jerry alluded to, we do go back a long ways. Friends sometimes, foes others. What he refuses to admit is that I actually worked on his campaign for his nomination. So,
And the 2008 election campaign, too, Trevor. That's not a matter.
2008. No, I didn't do anything in 2008. No. I did wear a button, but I didn't actually campaign for anybody. But anyway, so, I'm colorblind, but who in this room hasn't changed their mind from time to time? I mean, that's what democracy is all about. you change your mind. I mean, I have, have I got the right color tie on tonight? Because, I have some difficulty with that. I am truly colorblind, by the way. Anyway, it's been a great evening. It's been a great discussion. All I can say is, I ask you before May the 2nd, or between now and May the 2nd, to consider my record in provincial politics, my record working with the Fishermen's Union, my record as a fisherman. Whenever I've taken a job, I've went at it with full bore, and when I got to the point where I couldn't do it full bore, I walk away from it. And that's what people deserve, I believe. If I can't do the job, I don't do the job. I'll let somebody else do it. I walked away from provincial politics, and some people ask, well, why did you walk away and why are you back? I didn't walk away because of any dust-up with Danny Williams. I didn't walk away because of the air ambulance. That happened 6 months after I left. I walked away because I had some personal issues that had to be dealt with, and it couldn't be dealt with effectively while I was in political life. They're dealt with. I'm back. And as I said when I walked off the plane in St. John's the other day, I had to make sure that the fire was burning at 110% in my stomach and that it wasn't from acid reflux. And I can assure you I haven't had any acid reflux. I got a pack of Zantac in my bag, but I've only had to use one. In any event, my record I think is pretty good. I ask you to consider that over the course of the next 9 or 10 days. And on May 2nd, if you decide to send me to Ottawa, I can assure you you'll get the same level of representation that the people of Straits and White Bay North got in the 9 years that I was there. And I don't think you can ever accuse me of being silent in that 9 years either. I might have been controversial on times. You can accuse me of that. And I'm sure there were times you didn't agree with me. But you always knew what was on my mind. If you ask me a question, you don't get an answer back. I don't answer you in a way that I think you want to hear. I'll tell you exactly what I think is on my mind. So anyway, with that, thank you all very much, and thanks for participating in our wonderful democracy.
Gentlemen, this concludes our forum for this evening. I want to thank you all for coming out and participating. I want to thank you all for coming out this evening. We had a great turnout. There's no more effective way for you to make your opinions known than to get out and vote. So on May the 2nd, please make sure you do so. There's lots of reasons why the vote will go the way that it will go on May the 2nd. Let's not let voter apathy be one of them. Get out and exercise your right to vote. Thank you.